Welcome to Eye on Display, and today we're focusing on a very important but rarely discussed aspect of large format printing. That's artwork preparation. To help us understand the ins and outs a bit more, we have Amber Wilcox, lead graphic designer from Signspeed, who's joined us. Hello, from the coalface as it were. Thank you very much. Signspeed's based in beautiful West Wales. It's been providing sign-making services in the area, I think, for more than 40 years. So, Amber, thank you for joining us. Can we start? Could you just introduce yourself and tell us what your role is at Signspeed?
Yeah, so I'm a graphic designer. I've worked here for coming up to 8 years in the summer, and I do the design work and setting for print and a lot of the printing as well, dealing with artwork that comes in from customers, sometimes getting that print ready and printing it, or sometimes just designing from scratch as well, probably more so. Yeah, but basically dealing with it from when the design comes in all the way through then, and seeing it coming out of the printers at the other end.
So we're talking about artwork preparation. How much of an issue is that? How does it affect you and your work and sort of the customers and the job itself?
Yeah, quite a lot, to be honest. Obviously, not so much if a customer comes to us with just a rough idea of what they're wanting and they just leave us to come up with the ideas, design the ideas and print it. But when people come to us with, we've got this that we'd like to be printed, depending on where it's come from, quite often we'll struggle with getting the right sort of bleeds, making sure it's the right resolution, making sure the file format is okay. You know, there's lots of different hurdles that we come across, and trying to speak to the customer and explain that it's quite difficult sometimes, depending on what their background is.
Is this issue amplified for large format printing?
Yeah, I'd say so. And we do experience it with the smaller stuff as well, but I would say it's more prevalent on the larger scale stuff because obviously everything is bigger. If someone's got a logo that they want printed and it's not the best quality, it would probably be okay for business cards. But if they want it printed on a quite a large sign to go on the side of a building, it's not going to look great.
Okay. So in your experience, what are the most common file format issues that you encounter?
Probably, I would say resolution is probably the biggest one, the one that we see the most. But with formats, people sending through flattened artwork is quite common. You know, they might have made it online or they might have made it on Photoshop, but if it's all flattened and it's a raster image, then we can't get into it to make tweaks or check things or add bleeds.
What do you mean by flattened?
So you've got vector images and you've got raster images. So a vector image is made up of points, so it's all editable. It can be scaled bigger and it'll never pixelate. Whereas rasterized images are more like JPEGs, PNGs, photographs, things like that. So there's no layers. So it's just a complete flat image. It's not an editable file.
Okay, I'm with you. So a vector file, that's a .eps, isn't it?
Yeah, a PDF or an AI file, yeah.
Okay. So what do you do to help customers? Because, I mean, if someone like myself would send some artwork, I wouldn't really know what to do with it particularly. What can you do to help them to produce better artwork?
We have a set of artwork guidelines that we send out for customers if they're wanting to supply their own artwork, and we find that's quite useful because it would sort of include the size that the document needs to be, what bleeds we need, all things like that. So that's quite good. And we've got them for, say, business cards, for signs, for roller banners, for all the different products that we offer. We have the different artwork guidelines. So that is really helpful. But if anyone's not sure, we just say, give us a call or give us an email and we can explain what we need then.
Okay, so you kind of work to a checklist, but if they're struggling with that, you can sort of do that for them. In terms of somebody producing their own artwork to send, would it be better to use an InDesign file or PDF?
It depends, really. I would say we get a lot more PDFs sent to us than anything else. I suppose they've been made in various different programs and you can export a PDF from a lot more programs. But either or, to be honest, as long as we deal a lot with Illustrator files as well. So as long as all of the links, like the photographs and things like that, are packaged up with it. Otherwise, you struggle with sort of missing links and things like that when you go to access the file.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. It's one thing just doing a logo, but then if you're doing a leaflet or a flyer with lots of different components, each element will have to be done properly, I guess, in order to print properly.
Yeah, but with an InDesign file, you can package it all together, so all of the links will come across then with the file.
Okay, so you mentioned these apps like Canva and Adobe Express. How do they're very user-friendly. but how do they deliver artwork? Is that an issue for you?
Yeah, it can be. Canva can be really helpful with if a customer comes to us and they've sort of made a rough version of a logo that they might want us to build. It gives us something to start with, like a foundation. Whereas sometimes if people come to us and they want a logo design and they have no idea what they want, they don't know what colours, what sort of style, anything like that, it can be quite difficult. Whereas if they've made something that they quite like on Canva, but they want it built upon, that can be quite good. But we struggle a lot with people building stuff on Canva and then coming to us and saying, can you print this? Because a lot of the time it's not print quality.
And particularly if you go large format, then it's just going to look pixelated.
Yeah, exactly. Or even if they've built, say, a flyer or something on there, we quite often find that it hasn't got any bleeds, or the text is so close to the edge that, it'll probably get chopped off when it's printed and things like that.
Presumably, even with those kind of more user-friendly apps, they could still produce better artwork. It's just understanding how to do it, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think there's premium versions where they could probably export out a vector file, which then could be given to us, and at least then we could access it and add on the exact bleeds we need for our printing processes here.
Good stuff. Okay. Is there any other advice that you can offer to people how to prepare their artwork to send to someone like yourself to get it printed large format?
I'd probably say before you start anything, give us a shout, because it's often easier to set it up from the beginning the way it needs to be done than trying to do it afterwards. So think about what's the finished size going to be. And if you wanted to print, say, an A3 poster, setting up your canvas or your artboard at an A3 poster with the right bleeds to begin with is the easiest way to go about it, rather than making it smaller and then at a later date trying to go back in and make changes and make it bigger. Think about where it's going to be viewed from. So if it's something small like a business card, think about the size of the lettering on it. Or if it's a massive sign going up on the side of the building, things don't need to be as big for the size that it is. But just, think about the end outcome of it.
Okay. Is there any applications that you use to help get the artwork print the way you want it to?
We do a lot manually with checking things, but we have started using Artworker now, which has been really helpful. So rather than my time, if I'm really busy doing other design bits, I don't have to open up every single file and check the resolution of each picture and things like that. We can upload it to Artworker and it will do sort of a scan to check the resolution and check that stuff's not too close to the edge and things like that. And that can go straight to the customer then and let them know.
So that sort of saves you a lot of time and does all this, what it needs to do, quite accurately.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, well, look, thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate it.